What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production. Comic book reviews.
All right, sounds good. Hey, how's everybody doing today at COMICPALOOZA? Woo! There we go. Got a big crowd for someone not me, but that's awesome. While you're waiting in line over there, you're stuck listening to this. Hi everyone, I'm Brian from the Bry-Fy podcast, and with me today is
Me.
Some
I'm
people-
Casey.
and she's also my wife, which means she's contracted to do this with me every year, so it's a lot of fun. This year we're going to be playing a game called Trash or Treasure, Fictional Father Figures. So we're going to look at father figures throughout fiction, and we're going to decide whether they're trash or if they're treasure. And if you sit down, we have tons of little props so you guys can play. We can all decide, and then we can send them into whatever depths of either Heavenly Fathers or trash. So let's have a lot of fun. I also have pictures, so that way if you don't know the names, you might be able to follow along with the picture. Alright guys, so up first, after I go through a bunch of pictures of my son, our first father figure, you can see him on the board, Grisha Yeager from Attack on Titan. Father figure who wanted to keep the bloodline going. Trash or treasure? I think we all have. Okay, someone said treasure over there. Someone's either not paying attention to what they're doing or has never seen the show. All right, let's move on to our next father figure. And if we have some controversy, we're going to talk about it for sure. Up next, you know him. We love him. It's Boruto's dad. I mean, Naruto Uzumaki from the Naruto series. This one was tough for me because I feel like he didn't have a great father to be around with him due to unforeseen circumstances. But I think he's trying. But he's not always there. I don't know.
Oh no, he's real absent.
But he can create shadow clones, and he could be there, like, even though it's not there. Like, didn't he do that? He missed like one of his kids' birthdays, but a shadow clone showed up instead, or something like that.
And disappeared.
And then disappeared,
and
right?
dropped the cake.
And dropped. Oh, never mind. Trash, right there. You don't drop the cake and get away with it.
But not a very good dad.
Not a very good dad. Next, we're gonna switch to another anime. I don't know if you guys are Dragon Ball fans. We got Bardock, who is Goku's father. Of the Saiyan race, loves to fight. This one was even tougher for me because mostly Saiyans, you know, they're kind of bad people, and it's not their fault, right? It's their culture, it's how they do things. And I feel like of all the other, like in retrospect, of all the other Saiyans out there, I think Bardock's kind of a good guy, man. Like, all things considered. To me, he's treasure. I don't know what anyone else has to say about Bardock. And don't just go along with me because I'm the one with the microphone, okay? Like, no. All right, let's look at a different father figure. We'll stay with the same franchise. Son Goku, man. Wow, I already see trash coming up right away. But we have some treasures out here. What's out?
He ain't there.
But did he ever do anything wrong to his kids? I think the consensus is if you ain't there, you ain't a dad. Is that what it is? Alright, what about this guy? Piccolo! He wasn't a stepdad, he was a dad that stepped up. That's right. Piccolo was there for Gohan. He trained him, taught him how to be a good kid, and look at him now. Saiyaman, and I don't know what else he does. I don't know. He could be dead for all I know. That's what happens in Dragon Ball. People just kind of come and go as however they please. You know what? Let's stick it with Dragon Ball some more. Let's talk about Vegeta. Started off as villain, but if you know anything about Dragon Ball, you know this is the one, man, where Goku would just go off to have a fight. Vegeta purposely left a fight to go see the birth of his son. Granted, it happened within like half a second because Dragon Ball magic science stuff, but he was there. I say treasure. Treasure. Alright, this next one, I don't know if it's still in the realm of anime, but it's going to be taking a little bit of a different turn. We're going to Fruits Baskets. If anyone's seen that show, it's lovely. It follows the story of the Soma family, which are all cursed with zodiac animals, where if they hug someone from the opposite gender or sex, I can't remember, they will turn into that zodiac creature. One of them, his name is Kyo. Look, anime, alright? Well, one of the Soma members, he's abandoned by his family because he is the zodiac of the cat, which, along with turning into a cat, also turns into this creepy demon thing. And it's terrifying. So, when his family abandons him, this man that you see pictured here before you takes him in, doesn't abandon him, loves him, shows him kindness, and although he's not a blood father, is his father. And you must not heard anything because you're still trash.
See the best.
Alright, staying in the realm of anime for a while here, we're going over to Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist. So if you guys know, May Hughes is the loving, doting father who loves to show pictures of his family to anyone who is willing and able to hear him. I know who Brandon's thinking of right now. Honestly, this man is a treasure. Any dad who just carries pictures of their son in a wallet, or daughter, or whatever, and runs around and just force feeds that to you is a good dad. I think so. However, I know who you all want to see is here. Mr. Shao Tucker. Look, he gets a bad rap. He wanted to combine his best friend and his loving child into one. No? I see 2 trash cans over there. Yeah. Nothing?
Trash.
No redeeming qualities whatsoever? But look at that smile. Alright, do we have any My Hero Academia fans in the house today? No? Nothing? How about... wow, that already comes out fast from a lot of people. Endeavor, number 2 hero. Well, now I guess he's the number 1 hero. Look. Well,
Wow.
it's complicated, right?
Wow.
It's complicated. We know he's, for the most part, for the most part, yes. He was not the greatest father. Selective breeding with humans or that's kind of bad, right? But recently, he's tried to turn over a new leaf, tried to be there for his family. Maybe he's not full trash, but like recyclables.
There you go.
You know, like...
There you go.
Who's that? He's the military. Who cares? We're not here to talk about them.
Oh no.
Alright, let's take it back to the realm of Naruto over here. So we already talked about Boruto's dad, Naruto, but what about Naruto's father? Minato, or how do you say it? Yeah, Minato, right?
Minato.
Minato. Okay, she's my Naruto expert. That's why we brought her to the panel here today. Look, is it because he wasn't there? It's not his fault. He saved the Hidden Leaf Village. He saved the village, and
Sacrificed himself.
yes, he put a cursed beast into his son, which may or may not have alienated him and ruined his childhood.
What did he put?
He said, don't put it in your kids. All right. All right, the next father figure on our list comes from a lot of cosplays that we've been seeing here at the con. From One Piece, we have Monkey D. Dragon, Monkey D. Luffy's father. Someone we don't see too much about and honestly don't know too much about, maybe because he's not around enough.
He raised his friend, not even him.
That's true. That's like seeing your son, seeing his best friend, and being like, "You're the better one. Come to me instead." I'd rather you
It's
be my
fine.
son.
I found you in the ocean.
It's fine. I like a fish. Trash.
Trash.
That's also the other great thing about these fans, right? Like, I thought ahead. All y'all in the audience over there having fun, you could have a fan cool off with us. All right, up next on the list from Spy Family, we have Lloyd. Oh, wow. Immediate treasure here.
Spy Dad.
Is it the suit? Is it because he like wears fancy suits?
He is a chosen father.
But he picked his kid out. He picked his wife out. I mean,
Isn't that how it? Well, no.
no. And he has a hot wife. That's how you know he's a great dad. Look at his wife. Oh,
It went that way.
magic. You guys just saw a magic show. Moving on to Vinland Saga, a manga and also anime you can find on, is it Amazon Prime now? I can't remember. So I've seen a lot of blank stares in the audience. No one must watch Vinland Saga. It's a tale of Vikings. It is a tale of battle. It is a tale of love, but mostly battle.
And a lot of blood.
And then farming for some fun reason. So if you know anything about Vikings, you know their lust for death and destruction and a bit of racism. So, but you know, we overlook that in the fun anime and manga world. Thor's over here decided to take his family out of the fight, get away, start a new life, become a father, and try to teach his son the way of being peaceful, a pacifist. Tragically, he passed away while trying to...
Spoilers?
I mean, it happens in the first episode. Is it really a spoiler if it happens? Well, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Something unexpected happens to him, and he's no longer in the show for the rest of the series, except in flashbacks and memories. Who knows? He may come back. Casey says treasure. I say treasure. Anyone who tries to teach their family to turn the other cheek and be a better person is okay in my book. Moving on to cartoons now. If you guys are fans of Adventure Time, you might know this unexpected father, Jake the dog. I see a lot of treasure over here, but
I think he spends most of his time with his best friend.
he spends all of his time with his best friend. Where's his family? He only sees his wife every now and then. His kids, he was there for like 5 minutes. Yes, it was their entire... That doesn't matter. You don't stop being the dad when your kids are grown. You're trying to argue this, but I don't know. I say trash. Thank you for some of the people that follow and I really understand what it's like, okay? Ooh, moving on to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Fire Lord Oz.
Dumpster.
I can't
Do we
say.
need to say anything?
Yeah, there's nothing really to say. Everyone knows Ozai here is probably not the best father figure to have, despite wanting ultimate power. And I mean, in a weird way, he wants to keep everyone safe from the Fire
He has both
Nation.
of his kids.
Yeah, one psychologically and one physically. So hit all ends of the spectrum there. But we have our next Avatar, Uncle Iroh, man, with one of the best story arcs from Avatar: The Last, everybody's father. And I've seen a couple of Irohs walking around, so make sure you go find them, give them a hug, and tell them it's going to be okay. And this is the father that actually started this whole conversation with me and my wife from Bluey. It is Bandit, the fun-loving, goofy dad that I think we all try to emulate in our lives.
Unlimited patience.
Unlimited patience. This man is willing to pretend till it's bedtime, from sun up to sundown, just to make sure his kids are happy. This is the treasure of a dad right here. I think we all agree with that one. Moving on to another cartoon, Bob. from Bob's Burgers. This one's gonna be, I was on the fence about this one. So
We love Bob.
he has a lot of antics but I think ultimately he cares about his kids. He's always willing to support them no matter how strange they are. And if you watch the show, you know it's probably not easy raising Eugene.
You don't have to be perfect to be a good dad.
That's right. It's not about being perfect. It's about
Yeah,
being caring, I think.
exactly.
Another cartoon dad some of us may know is, I forget his real name, but from Danny Phantom, it's Jack Fenton.
Trash.
I mean, you can't have Danny Phantom unless his father creates this machine that technically unalives his son and doesn't put any safety features anywhere in it, so kind of trash, right?
Like, how long did it take him to figure out what Danny was doing?
Does he even know that
Does he
Danny's a
ever
ghost?
find out?
Like, I stopped watching the show. He has no idea that his son is technically kind of not alive. He's in some weird limbo. Next, moving on to Dexter's Laboratory, we have just Dad. I tried everywhere to look for a name for Dexter's father, and it's just I see some mixed reviews here. So I always bring it back to the one episode where Dad leaves, Dexter makes Mom, Robot Mom, and I think there's another mom or something, and he doesn't realize he's talking to different people. He just says hi to everyone like they're supposed to be there.
Not present.
So is he just going with the flow, or is he a non-present father? That's the tough one here. Hey, to be
For
fair,
real. Like, how do you have a lab in your house and not even know?
he found a lab. It was a dog, but he did find one of Dexter's labs one time. That was a whole episode about it. Womp womp. I got them all. Moving on to another cartoon we all know and love, The Fairly Odd Parents. With Mr. Turner over here, Timmy's dad, I see some more. This is what I like to see. People not able to agree wholeheartedly. Look, it's hard to say. He's a very envious man. He's very jealous. He definitely lets his opinions and emotions get the better of him.
Anyone who lets someone like Icky Vicky watch their child consistently.
Well, back then he didn't have Facebook. He couldn't stalk anyone. He couldn't just like Google someone's name and know.
I'm sure he could listen to his son.
I mean, it's not like Chip Skylark did a whole song about Vicky and how icky she was and made it into like a Spotify top 100, like that he would have never heard. All right, I agree. Trash. We'll go with trash with everyone. Moving on to our next father here from the same franchise, we have Cosmo. I see a lot of treasure over here except for Brandon. Brandon, I'm gonna need you to explain yourself. Come up here, man. No, yeah, we're putting you on the spot. You come up here. In a sea of treasure, I have one lump of coal. Just trash right here.
It's too loud for my taste.
He's too loud.
Well, there you go.
I was ready to debate you and be really upset with your answer, but when I think about it and I think about the feelings that I get when my son gets really loud and the way I have to steel myself to like be okay, I can't fault you for that, okay? I believe you. No, we'll keep it with the trash. You got me kind of wavering now. You got me wavering. But ultimately, I think he's there for his kids. He's not afraid to play either role, either gender role of the family. He's there to be the mom, the dad, the aunt, the uncle, anyone he needs to be to make sure this family's successful and happy. That's all he cares about is happy, like your happiness. Whether or not it makes for terrible wishes that.
Because he spends his time granting wishes for children. What?
Yeah, but not every wish should be granted. Like if our son wanted a chainsaw horse or something, we're not going to buy that for him, right? Cosmo would, though.
Yeah.
Cosmo would.
Cosmo would.
Up next, everyone's favorite father to at least watch, Peter Griffin. Trash dad or treasure dad here? I think this one's a pretty easy one. Despite how much he may make us laugh, I'm pretty sure they're like really abusive to Meg. I think that's
Poor Meg.
based on just what they do to Meg alone is pretty awful. Even like the one episode where they're nice to her, I don't think that makes up for years of trauma and tragedy. Trash. Moving on to our next cartoon, Jimmy Neutron with Hugh Neutron. Hugh Neutron, famous for his love of pie and just, I think, ducks. I think he's a huge lover of ducks. And you know what? Although he never truly understands his son and understands what he's really trying to do, he's always there to support him, always there to be a part of it. There you go, right there. So, treasure in my book. And I think everyone else seems to kind of think treasure there. I don't know. Where's your dad? Up next, for some of our older cartoon watchers, we have Mr. Quest, Dr. Bitten Quest from the Johnny Quest franchise. We can argue that he brings his son along, so he keeps his son a part of his events. So he's a present father, but then loses sight of him, and then who knows what kind of whatever shenanigans ensue with that one. All right, I think we're all saying trash on this one. I agree with that. Probably not the best dad. Moving on to maybe Texas's favorite father, Hank Hill, for all your propane needs and propane accessories. I do see some trash over there, which I can't fault you for that. He does have instances where I might not agree with that, but I think at the end of the day, he loves his son Bobby, no matter how keeping Austin weird Bobby is.
I mean, he tries. He's not perfect by any means.
I think the redeeming factor about Hank Hill is that he's willing to try and that he's willing to change his mind, despite what he believes and what he grew up in. Also, fun fact, I hear they're bringing the show back. Another one, this time Bobby's supposed to be older, and I think he went to culinary school.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I don't know if they're going to focus on Bobby or if they're going to focus on Hank. And you're going to have to tune in to find out. Look, man, you made me pause. There we go. Up next to one of my favorite animes, Pokemon. And we have Flint, Brock's father from Pokemon. I see some treasure over there. I see some trash.
Who leaves their eldest child to watch all the rest of their children?
So, just so you know, the mom left too. Okay? Like, you can't.
But we're not talking about moms. We're talking about
That's next year's COMICPALOOZA, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. First off, I didn't even know the mother existed until recently when they brought her back in an episode. That was a whole thing. Yeah, shocker. But, okay, I see. Flint wasn't there, forced his son to raise a bunch of kids.
5 million kids.
But he comes back. He realizes, hey, he wants Brock to go and venture the world, to be better than what he could ever be. So he comes back to give his son that dream, to go on the road with and take care of 2 other kids while they live their dreams. And I mean, okay, yeah, I can't. I'm trying to bring it around. It's just hard, okay? Up next, creator of the Powerpuff Girls, literally, Professor Utonium, or Plutonium. Utonium, right? Yeah, Utonium. It's been a while, okay? It's been a hot minute since I've watched it. I see lots of treasure out there.
I mean, although it is kind of weird that you let your children go and fight monsters.
His kids are at risk every day. Every day. I mean, yeah, you try to stop them, right? I'm not gonna like front up the bubble. She's gonna knock my head off. All right, we'll give that treasure to him. Next, another famous scientist, Rick Sanchez.
2 very different opposite sides of the spectrum.
They are both men of science who have created life. What's up, man? All right, yeah, so he's pretty bad to his family and just anyone that gets involved in his circle at all.
He
I'll give
hangs out
it.
with Morty a lot, though.
Yeah, like Morty. Like if you just really put on the blinders and look at only one person, he's good to that person 50% of the time. I think that counts, right? Moving on to another character from the same franchise, Jerry. It's not much better, is it? But does Jerry try harder? Like, no? Okay. I can't change anyone's mind over here. I'm just...
Nah.
I mean, look at that smile. Look at him. He's so confident. He's so full of himself. Up next from Rocket Power, it's Raymundo Rocket. The kind of beach bum, owns a surf shop and food shack. Lets his kids do really cool things, but for the most part leaves them unsupervised.
No, that was just our childhood.
I feel like saying just because it was the time is not an excuse to how you parent, though. I think here's the thing. When I was a child watching this show, I loved Raymundo because all I wanted to do was go out, ride my bike, have the time of my life, and I didn't need some lame parent telling me no, right? Put on a helmet. Well, they all wore helmets anyway. You have to promote safety, right?
He made sure they wore helmets.
Yeah, the father of Nickelodeon made sure all the kids wore helmets on that show. I mean, they all wore pads too. Like everything that they did, every sport that they did, they were always safe and protected.
That's right.
All right, I'll give it to you. Raymundo, good dad. Good dad. Up next on our cartoon, we have Charles Finster. This man is probably, next to Bandit, is probably my next favorite father figure right here. Single dad, eventually finds love, adopts another child, is not afraid to try new things, and even though he is probably on some type of medicine to help him get through things, he seems like he's just riddled with anxiety.
Like, you can't tell me you didn't cry watching the Rugrats movie.
It's weird to think that I'm the same age as these parents now when you kind of grow up thinking to yourself like, wow, I'll never be that old ever in my life. And now I'm 35 looking back and I see me. That's me over there in that TV. He might be. They're in their early 30s, early to mid 30s.
It hurts.
It hurts, yeah. You want to deny it. You want to so bad. Moving on to everyone's next favorite father, Stu Pickles. I think this guy is clearly a treasure based on his one interaction with Angelica where he wakes up, middle of the night, she's got a broken arm or leg and just wants pudding. So of course, because he doesn't have pudding in the house, he's got to go get pudding, bring it back and make the pudding. And there, like all of us have probably had one day sitting in the kitchen talking to ourselves, I wondered what's the meaning of life and why were we here trying to exist. Like, what does he say? I've lost full control of my life or something like that. I think any parent has been to that moment in their life where you've lost all of it and you're just hoping beyond hope that something's going to make sense one of these days. But just hang in there. There's groups, there's Facebook groups you can talk to. And luckily for me, I have a lovely spouse that will slap some sense into me. Moving on to another famous cartoon dad. Dad, I got some treasure back there. I like that. A dad who's not afraid to try. A dad who's not afraid to back down. A dad who has said questionable things on television and tried to just roll with it.
Wasn't he like Lady Gaga?
I think he was Lady Gaga at one point. Oh, that Lord, that's who it was. Lord.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he's trash. There's no, look, there's some give-me's in here, I get it. Like, there's, no. Moving on to another cartoon everyone's familiar with, SpongeBob SquarePants and Mr. Krabs, the money-hungry owner of the Krusty Krab. And I see a lot of mixed here, and I like this. So I see some trashes. I see a double-fisted trash over there. I don't know. I think the way he treats Pearl, though, his daughter, very well. Like, he's greedy, but he loves, and he cares.
I feel like just because he's a bad person doesn't mean he's a bad dad. I
don't know, it's tough. It's tough. I've gone back and forth on this one because is a money-hungry person who doesn't want to give you the nice things, really a bad dad, or, you know, he cares and does what he can, like get SpongeBob to do, take Pearl to the prom and make the Krusty Krab a cool nightclub and, okay, yeah, he's trash too. I think he's trash, yeah. I'm sorry, I talked myself out of it. Another older cartoon for you guys that we can look at. Fred Flintstone, yabba dabba doo over here. Works hard for his family to have a modern life in the Stone Age.
Yeah.
I think he's a great dad. I think he does what he can. I mean, they don't have real cars. They drive with their feet. That's dedication.
Mm-hmm. He carries his family.
Literally. I don't see any of their feet helping move the car. Just Fred. Taking it a couple hundred years into the future, or if you look at the Wikipedia, only 10 or 20 years from now, we have the Jetsons. I think what year does the show take place? 2020? I don't remember. It's, when you see what year it's supposed to take place, it hurts. You look at the world today. Where's my hoverboard? I don't know, man. So George Jetson over here goes to work every day, kind of like Fred. He's much like Fred, but if I remember something correctly, he gets fired from his job almost every episode, and then has to try to work his way back to get a job. So what kind of family life is that, where your dad is in and out of work all the time? You don't know if he's really going to bring food to the table, but yet you can still afford a flying car and a great apartment above the desolate planet Earth or wherever they're at. He could be a good dad, right? They have a dog, like that's kind of a thing, right? That takes responsibility, and a robot maid, that's cool. We got a Roomba, that's awesome, right? Like it's like the same thing. All right, final verdict: trash or treasure on George Jetson.
I'm mixed reviews.
I'm gonna say treasure. I like. That's cheating. You can't do one or the other. All right, I'll let you have it. I think that one was probably the hardest one we've had to decide because no one's watched the Jetsons. Because we're the only old people. What year? 2062. That's only 40 years from now. That's scary close. All right, next father. You know him. You love him.
Love him.
I see.
But not a good fan.
Oh, look. So I will say trash on this, but Homer is the person that I identify with the most because I also work at a nuclear reactor. And so I understand it's hard to stay sane while working 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, trying to go home.
Okay, but he did have so many pictures of Maggie on his wall.
Right, he has pictures of his family. Oh, that's right, he does have Bart as his son, huh? I thought that was just some random kitty beat. No, yeah, you're right. No. Okay.
Then how are you going to choose one kid over the other two?
He does buy, doesn't he buy Lisa an instrument? Like, I thought he did that. Like, I guess it's really hard to get over the fact that he strangles his son almost every episode. And I mean, there should be one clear rule with trash or treasure, right? Don't hit your kids. Like, but he strangled his son. Up next, another questionable father on this list, Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries. I see a lot of treasure here. He's a man who loves his kids, takes them on wild adventures where they get to go face first into dangerous, crazy animals. Still doesn't realize his daughter can actually talk to animals, though, so how present is he really? Is that how that works? If they find out her secret, she can't talk to animals anymore. And then he won't be able to get those great National Geographic shots that he gets because she convinces the animals to come up. All right. Yeah, I'll give it to him. The kid is treasure, the dad is trash. Is that what you think? No. I'm going to give Nigel the treasure right here. He was like the cartoon version of Steve Irwin, man. He was like who we loved and adored. Moving on to Tom and Jerry, we have Spike the dog. This one was a gimme right here, right? I put this in here because I needed to see treasure. That's beautiful. I mean, come on. Yes, he's overprotective, but he is over-loving. He's over-caring. He will do anything. He will drop everything for his son. That's what we like to see out of a dad right there. Plus, I mean, look at that dad bod. Look at the muscles. Like, come on, ladies. Woo! Moving on to another father figure here. And, yeah, an actual father now at this point. Batman. So, like Nigel Thornberry, he brings his kids to work and puts them out into the wild in a dangerous environment. But for some reason, it seems different to you people.
You told me Batman had kids?
I'm sure they get to go to the mansion. They could be orphans right now. Yes. Wait, but didn't he come back? And look at it, he's fine now. A little rough around the edges, but he's fine now.
Like, how do you come back from that?
Easy, comics. You always come back. That's how it works.
True.
Next comic book father here, if you were at the Colt 45 panel last night, you might have heard a sultry, manly voiceless character, Marco. Oh, that's right, that was me! Thanks for reminding me! Oh, wow, that was cool. Man, you can hear that on Colt 45 podcast. They'll be posting the episode sometime after COMICPALOOZA.
It's really awesome.
That's a paid advertisement, actually. But anyway, so I did it finally. It was tough, though. So Marco goes across galaxies. He's willing to be a pacifist, but also not afraid to back down from a fight when needed to save his family, his child, from the government. I mean, come on, let's face it. The government's the evil here, right? We know that. And so I honestly, this is the man all men should be right here. Horns and everything. Yes. Up next, another comic book father that we all know and love, Rick Grimes. Another man who's not afraid to back down from a fight. He is not a pacifist at all. I mean, he ripped some dude's throat out with his teeth. That's pretty brutal
First
there.
he went real violent, and then he was like, nah, never again, and then he was like, okay, sometimes.
Well, he went violent because he thought his son got killed or like really hurt, you know? And then he proceeds to put his son in deadly situations throughout the rest of the...
I think he got real violent, and then he saw he was turning his son into kind of like a crazy person, so he was like, oh, we can't do that anymore.
See, that's a dad like realizing, hey, I'm making wrong choices here, and steps back to make better choices. And you gotta look at the time, like we're talking about over here. Like, you're in the zombie apocalypse, right? You gotta do different fatherly things to protect your kids. I think Rick Grimes is a good dad. I think he's a treasure. Plus, when he puts on that murder jacket, he looks handsome, right? Like, let's face it. And he has a hook for a hand. That's cool, too. Moving on to a cartoon movie, 101 Dalmatians.
Pongo!
Pongo is the stepdad that just couldn't stop. He has real kids. He had 5 real kids and then like 90 stepchildren that he just took at the drop of a hat, right?
And he loves them all.
Yeah, but is he just doing it to collect, you know? I mean, can you really keep up with 99 kids? Like, that's the question, right? Oh, man. All right, I'll give it to y'all. I mean, come on. Pongo, one of the greatest dogs in the world, he gets to be treasured. Moving on to another movie, American Pie, one of America's favorite dads right here.
Never judging. You
Look,
can tell him anything.
this is the cool dad right here. But he's not afraid to sit you down and tell you like it is in a very awkward way that still leaves me questioning whether it was right or wrong what I did.
But judgment-free.
Very judgment-free, right?
Yeah.
This is the dad that you can go to, that your friends can go to help you like get on the right path.
Yep.
Or at least know the right path and still do the wrong thing if you're stiffler.
Yes.
So treasure, definitely treasure. Right, we're on the next page.
I only have one page.
I forgot to give you the next page. Up next, one of my favorite dads, Dr. Evil. Yes, he is a supervillain that wants to steal $1 million, which in this day and age is probably getting back to being kind of expensive. And he has, remember, he has Mini-Me and he has Scotty. So he kind of treats Scotty, you know, questionable.
Not well.
But he loves Mini-Me.
But that's a clone.
But it's like a son. He was in a baby Bjorn.
He only just loves himself.
Are you saying trash or treasure? I think he's. Oh, treasure. You think it's treasure? It's so tough. He did give Scott a chance, though, too.
Yeah, but a dad's love is unconditional.
That's tough. All right, final verdict. Dr. Evil, trash or treasure? All right, the trashes have it. That means you, sir, are voted off the island. No. Up next, going to Beauty and the Beast. Belle's father, hey, promoted his daughter to keep on reading, to be a part of it and have some fun. Yes, he kind of goes off to the market, gets lost by a beast, and then allows his daughter to be placed in jail because he got tricked by her. But I don't know. Ultimately, look, in a day and age in France where a lot of people were like, Belle reads, that's weird, she shouldn't be reading. Her dad wanted her to read. Her dad wanted her to expand her mind and be a better human. So you know what? To me, treasure right there. He's a good dad. Made one bad choice, right? But like, we all make one bad choice, right?
Or two. Or three.
And then look, she found love, and it turned out he turned into a prince, and now she lives in a mansion with her own personal library. I think, right. So maybe he knew, you know? And remember, the witch, like, erased everyone's memory, but what if he retained something? What if he remembered? And so this was all a plot and a ploy to get his father, or his daughter, a better life. Next, moving on to another movie, Big Daddy, we have Sonny Koufax. This one is,
Yeah.
oh, I see, okay.
There's a lot of growth.
This man started like this, but then turns it around. Turns it around, very much growth. I do see, sometimes I show my age with some of these picks, but, you know, I'm glad though. I'm glad that I got more people living in my world than not. I think Sebastian's tuned down now. He doesn't know any of these movies, but that's okay. Moving, he might know this one. We got Despicable Me, Gru. This is another situation. I think Gru to me is treasure, right? He loves his goyles. He'll do anything for them. He'll get his face painted. He stopped being a villain for one movie, I think, to be a superhero. I think treasure. I think we all can agree on treasure on this one. And now moving on to the Emperor's New Groove, we have Pacha. Pacha, right?
Love that man.
I mean, this one's not hard. Everyone's already knows. You know him. You love him. Another fantastic guy. One played by John Goodman. So, I mean, come on. Just good man all around right there. Moving on to another man over here from the Family Vacation series. Let's get it. I see some treasures over here. I see some trashes right there. This one's tough. And that movie, trash. Okay? But Vegas, yeah. I mean, he puts their poor aunt on the roof of the car and drives her cross country. All right, I'll give you all that one. I'll give that one trash. Here we go from Finding Nemo. We have Marlin, a man destined to be great, I think, no matter if he was funny or not. Travels the ocean, finds his son, braves sharks, barracudas. I mean, come on. That's the man.
He faced his biggest fear like multiple times just to get
everything was his fear, right?
Agoraphobia to the max.
Moving on to Frozen, we have King, I can't remember his name anymore. It's Anna and Elsa's dad. The man who was specifically told, hey, your daughter's got some issues that you need to be supportive and caring for, and so he made her a shut-in and not allowed to see the world. All right, I see some treasures, I see some trashes. This one, ooh. I think trash. I'm going with trash on that
I mean,
one.
didn't the trolls tell them from the beginning that love was the answer?
The trolls gave them. They spoiled it from the beginning. Love is the answer, and this man chose fear. All right, guys, we're going for the last one for the show right here. We have Goofy. Especially, I think this one, hands down, Goofy is a treasure. That's right there. Right there. All he wanted to do was take his son on a fishing trip, and he turned out taking him to a concert and a fishing trip. I think that, man, come on, that's lovely right there.
He loves his son so much.
And plus, he's like my favorite character in Kingdom Hearts, so let's go with that, man.
Yes.
All right. That's a valid point. Hey, so that's all the fathers that we have for you today. I want to thank y'all so much for just sitting around, having some fun, whether you were just taking a break, but participating, having fun with the signs. Were the signs pretty fun? Did we like these? All right, I think we're going to keep this up next year if I'm allowed to come back to Comic Blues. We'll see. Every year is always sketchy, but I had a blast with you guys. Once again, this is my lovely wife, Casey. This is the reason why I showed up. But so you can always follow her. She actually has a YouTube channel at Potentially Casey. She does all kinds of things, makeup tutorials, talks about being a parent with anxiety and just being awesome. So definitely check out her channel.
I haven't posted in a long time, guys.
And then, of course, my name's Brian. I'm from the Bry-Fy podcast, where I podcast weekly shows, sometimes from the con floor, sometimes from my car while driving, which is probably not the safest thing to do, but it's a lot of fun. Trust me. You can hear me say profanities on the road while I'm trying to drive in traffic. Oh, I get the treasure? Oh, thanks, you guys.